Hari Om. This is my continuation in English, part number 8, Bible versus Christianity. So I'm just going to address especially those two teachers who brought in unfortunate incidents on the two young students, and also to certain Christian missionary pastors in Tamil Nadu, especially in Tamil Nadu, who appear to be using some unpalatable languages against Hinduism. Okay, let me come. Now, everybody is saying that, in the Bible talks of equanimity or equality or whatever it is. But I'm going to give you some certain verses which I really do not appreciate. If you go to some Exodus and if you go to 32 verses 27 and 28, Moses actually comes and breaks down a golden calf, and then God orders through Moses to kill everybody. So he will be killing everybody who is worshipping idols. So I don't know, even an idol worshipper is not doing anything wrong. He is seeing God in that idol. That's all. Whatever the idol may be, because Bible will go against its own self. In Genesis they say God created man in his own image. So nothing wrong in when God having an image in the image of a man, because God said that God made man in his own image, in the image of God. So the man can make an image of man and worship it, because it is only God, it is his image. I don't know, there will be conflicting ideas also in Bible if you check one with the other. Then in Leviticus, if you go to verse number 20, if I remember well, it is 26, 7 and 8, and God commands Israelites to kill everybody who are not Israelites. That is, you see, in Israel also, they talk of the 12 tribes. I told you earlier, God comes to tell that I have come to find the lost sheep of the house of Israel. When in Matthew you can find out these in earlier verses also, when why he has come here. He says, he specifically tells in Matthew 15, chapters 24 and all, if you see 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27 and all, you see, God first he comes to find the lost sheep of Israel. Now, who is the lost sheep of Israel? Lost means the one which is missing, gone forever. There is a small history behind it. If I want, I can tell you that 723 years before Christ, what happened was the king of Assyria, probably the modern Syria, Assyria invaded Jerusalem, and they killed a lot of tribes, and some tribes of Israel were missing. 10 of them had gone. There are 12 tribes, notable tribes of Israel, which I will tell you is Asher. Then there is a tribe called Dan, Ephraim. Then there is a tribal called Naphtali. Then they have a Gad, they say. Then Isarchar, they say. I do not know how to pronounce this. Issar, I checked that. Isarchar. Then they have a tribe called Naphtali. Then they have a tribe called the Reuben, the Simon, the Zebulun, Zebulu, and they say Zebulun. And they have the Judah and the another tribe called the Benjamin. The Judah is a tribe which Christ belongs to. The other 10 tribes, which I told you earlier, they were all missing. There are 12 tribes. 12 tribes of that's what Jesus will be quoting also. I will be sitting on the 12 thrones in heaven. Now so Jesus has been specifically sent to find the missing tribes of Israel only, the house of Israel only. It's not a broad-minded equal everywhere. Whereas here in Bhagavad Gita we have seen very many verses. Yomam pashyati sarvatra, you see in me everything, and in everything you see me, in everything, and in me you see everything. I do not go before them, I protect them. That's a beautiful way of putting things, which I'll come to that later. So these 12 tribes are missing, and only 10 tribes are Judah and the Benjamin, and Jesus belongs to Judah, and he wants to search for the 10 tribes. That's also the 99 sheep, 100 sheep and all. Even one sheep is missing, you have to go in search of the sheep. So Jesus, he himself says he has come only to specifically find out the lost tribes of Israel, the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Very clear. And in Matthew 15 also, if you go verse number 27 also, see before that verse, a Gentile woman. A Gentile is probably an Arab featured woman. I will tell you, because Abraham, if you see, he had 2 wives, children through 2 wives. The first wife is Sarah. She must have been a Caucasian, like Israelites. If you find in Jerusalem, Benjamin Yahu and all the latest prime ministers are all pure white. And the other, a slave girl called Hagar. She must be an African. That's what I presume, because that tribes from Hagar, they call it Ishmael, that in Islam. And the other tribe is Ismail, or they get those tribes through Jacob, and also two big branches. One probably African oriented, the other probably Caucasian white oriented. That's why everywhere the tribe of Jacob only they will protect, because these tribes, they are Hagar's children. I am not going deep into that. Are probably dark in complexion with negroid features. So God will never protect them. We are here also in TamilNadu, they will be talking somewhere the same thing. But here in Bible, fully it is like that. So, and in Leviticus, some words are very harsh. If you take Joshua 21, Joshua has been commanded. Jesus' Aramaic name is called also Joshua, and they have Yeshua also. English name they say is Joshua. Yeshua is the Aramaic Hebrew name for Jesus, and Jesus is probably the Western English name. Now, the God there in Bible tells Joshua to go and slaughter everybody, even everything that breathes, children also. Children also, you please go and read all those verses, it will be really frightening. And then, so in Matthew 15, if you come to 27, why I am telling you about the caste system, she's a Gentile, probably from the Palestinian origin, Negroid origin. She begs Jesus to drive the evil spirit that has been there in her daughter's body. Jesus refuses. In 27, Jesus says, I have not come here I should not throw the food of the children to the dogs. You please go through that. Matthew 15 chapter, verse number 27. I will not throw the food of the children to the dogs. That means Gentiles are dogs, and he has brought the food to the tribes of Israel, that is the Jews. All those 12 tribes I told you, from Asher to Dan and Gad and Ephraim, all those 12 tribes, Issachar, Manasseh, they have called some tribes like Manasseh, Naphtali, and all, they have got the tribes, Naphtali, then the Reuben, Simon, Zebulun, then only they have Judah and Benjamin, all these 12 tribes. So that's how it goes. So Jesus is also showing some partiality as per Matthew. I'm not saying Jesus did it, but through Matthew uses as if Jesus spoke like that. That's what it comes, slightly partiality is there. Jesus refuses to give the child. Then finally in Matthew 28-29, he cures that Gentile woman's daughter. He drives out the spirit. That's what Matthew writes. And then if you go to Samuel, my God, it will be so really. God commands Saul. Saul is actually Paul, the apostle, to kill every Amalekite. There were some people in a place. See, these are all places where the God of Israel, Jews, wanted to kill. Some places mainly belonging to the Arab community. Probably the children of Hagar, who are dark complexioned. Please go through the Bible very clearly. It's all political killings only. Kingly killings, God asking him to go and kill, and God coming and killing. That is what it says us in Joshua. And then we saw, you go to Judges chapter 10, Judges chapter 21. If you go to Judges, verses from 10 to 24. So 21 is a chapter, 10 to 24. My God, he will ask everybody to kill everybody, and also such a cruel that punishment will be that you can kill all the males and all the females, and then the virgin female girls, you take them and keep them as your wife. That's what God says through Bible. Well, that was too harsh for me. It is there. That's why Richard Dawkins says Bible is the bloodthirsty God of Bible. Richard Dawkins, a very famous Oxford University professor occupying the Oxford chair in London, he says, I have gone through his works. So when that being the case, that what happens in Judges, then the Samuel, kill everyone in Amalek. Then Psalm, if you take verse number 137 and you go to, chapter number 137, and then if you go to verse number 9, it says very clearly in verse number 9 that you kill everybody, and then what you do is you dash the children against stones. The children, that God will be happy. The children are being dashed against stones. That is too much of God's command. I would never, because God has to be, impartial. He cannot be partial. Dashing children against stones. That is what it is. And then He says in Isaiah, if you take chapter 13, verses 15 to 18, if you say everybody in Babylon should be killed, kill everyone. All people, also in Edom, all those Israel cities in probably I would say in Arabian part. This Babylon was called Jericho. Babylon now is Baghdad, that Iraq, Iran, that Arabic area. Babylon, they say Mesopotamian civilization, we could also say Assyrian civilization, Syria and those belt. Jericho was also called as Babylon. So the God of Israel will say, I am the true God, because they were all pagans before Islam came, and they were worshipping idols. So these idols have to be killed. The idols have to be destroyed completely. He will say the Bible God is very, very strict God. That is Isaiah verse 15 to 18. Then if you go to what is known as Jeremiah is another, and even in Isaiah, if you go chapter 34, verses 2-8, he says everyone has to be killed. Even the Arabs cannot pitch their tent. Even the Arabs cannot pitch their tent. I will make sure. God says to, that's what in the third person it is being written. God says like that. Even the Arabs, I will not this thing. Then if you go to Jeremiah, chapter 50, verses 21 and 22, he simply asks God, attack Babylon, that is Jericho, and kill everybody. See, these things, killing everybody without reason, I do not know. Let me go. Then if you go to Ezekiel, 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 if you go to chapter 9, verses 5 to 7, kill all. Everybody you kill. That's what he says. Do not leave anybody. Kill all those who do not have some mark in themselves. See, before he sends a messenger to that place, and he asked them to find out which of those people are who cry and crave for God, and others who do not cry and crave. So those who cry and crave for God, put a mark on that. And those who do not have the mark, go and kill them. That is, non-believers, go and kill them. In short, that's what he says. Then again, if you come to Matthew chapter 10, chapter 10, verses 34 and all, if you go, God says, I am not, Jesus says, see, Matthew, Mark, Luke and John are the four gospel writers approved by Rome. So here in Matthew 10, if you go to 35, 36 and all, Jesus says in 34, I have come here with a sword not to bring peace. Then I say I have come here to create divisions. In 35, 36 and all, if you say division mean father to son, brother to brother, everybody will be divided in the house. 3 brothers against 2 brothers. I mean, I really did not appreciate them. And then in Luke, if you take in Luke chapter 19, verse 27, Jesus says, those who do not like my reign, you bring before them and slay before me. Kill them before me. Well, I am 100% sure that Jesus would not serve, because he's too good a prophet. But these people who write, they write in the name of Luke, or probably Luke, or down the period, 700, 800 years AD, they were still writing Bible, adding, subtracting, minusing, until 15th century, King James version, that was finally accepted, after all the additions, subtractions, keeping eyes and nose and everything, writing and all. So, he says like that. So, kill before me, Jesus would never have told, but that's what it says in Bible. Then if you go to Chronicles, the book 2 is there, and verses 7, 8, 9, my God, if you see, there's a clear partiality there. What is that partiality? Except the tribes of the Israel tribes of Hittites or Amorites or Javites, they have lots of tribes. So, those should not be made slaves. Other tribes have to be made slaves. And even there is a classification, if you go to 14, verse if you go to 14, that Jesus says, the class of priests, not Jesus, but it's quoted there, the class of priests are divided between some certain priests who have to be worshipped by the other priests. Very clear, they say. Then if you go to 14 and same, 2, I think it is Chronicles, if you go Chronicles 2, 14 and chapter 5, chapter 14 and verse 5, he says, destroy all false gods. So all false gods should be destroyed. And again, if you go to St. Luke, verse number 12, and in chapter number 12, and in verse number 53, very clearly Jesus says, those who do not hate their father or mother, or do not like and are not worthy of me to be my disciple. So you have to hate your father, mother, brother, sister, friends yourself finally, then only you can be worthy. What we saw in St. Luke 14, chapter 14 and verse number 26, hate your father, hate. See, everything here in 53, again, I have come here to create a division, not to create peace. All these are there. So, the main point is, even in Isaiah, if you take Isaiah is a name from Isa. Isa is actually Vedic word. All these Abrahamic religion, when they came to India, see, after Alexander, 600 years before the common era, the Christ era, a lot of people, even in the first century, in 100 AD, in 500 AD, in 700 AD, 600 AD, all were coming to many borders of Baluchistan, Sindh, northwestern province, the western portions of India, old India. So, when so much of a violence is also there, so much of a caste difference is there. Jesus very clearly says, I have come here to feed the children, not to throw my food to the dogs. When the Gentile women are, Gentile is a one tribe, and I presume it's a Palestinian tribe. Gentiles were there, Canaanites were there. And tribes of Israel, as I told you, from Asher to Dag to Ephraim to Gad and all, there are tribes, Issachar, Manasseh, all those tribes of Israel, 12 tribes of Israel. So they were protected. So there was no equanimity. If you go to, so much of caste systems were there. Jesus himself differentiates, and there they are also saying, so much of killing, killed that tribe, killed that city belonging to Jericho or Babylon. Babylon is modern Iraq. And not mine. God will come and protect here. Even if they do some mistake, God will protect. So there is a partiality. God has to be impartial. No, you come to Bhagavad Gita. It says beautifully, chapter 4, verse 13. Chaturvarnyam maya srishtam guna karma vibhagashah tasya kartarah mam api akartarah avyayam. What a beautiful words. Scientifically also, non-parallel. Chaturvarnyam, forecast, maya, by me. Aham avam vayam, mamma avam no asmanaha, maya avabhyam asmabhi. By, with me, since and all, it will come. Third one, maya. Chaturvarnyam maya srishtam was created by me, was produced by me. Guna karma vibhagashah, as per your guna and as per your karma. What karma you do? Suppose you are a cobbler. Even in England they will say Smith. Mr. Smith, come here. The ancestors must be in cobblers or carpenter. Mr. Woodwork, come here. Woodworth. There were all cricketers called Woodworth also. Underwood. He was a spinner. When I was a young boy, I would see him spinning in Chennai and Bombay stadiums. See, they're by name. So, Chaturvarnyam maya srishtam guna karma vibhagashah. Tasya, of that, of it. It's a Shashti Vibhakti. Ekavachanam. Tasya kartaraha, I am the doer. Mam, me, api also. Akartaraha, non-doer. Avyayam. Avyayam means, Vyayaha means in Sanskrit, expenditure, spending. Avyaya means no expenditure, means I am permanent. I am changeless. I am always the same. I cannot die even for 3 seconds. So, Chatsya Kartaraha, the doer and the non-doer. See the science behind it. You cannot have one, you will have to have zero to define one. If you take a coin, it has to have heads, tails, 2 sides. Then only it can make some sense. So, Chaturvarnyam maya srishtam guna karma vibhagashah, as per their guna and as per their karma. That is what I have created 4 divisions: the Brahmanas, the Kshatriyas, the Vaishyas and the Sudras. So, Chaturvarnyam maya srishtam guna karma vibhagashah tasya kartaraha mam api akartaraha avyayam. Akartara also I am, me. Who me? The avyayam. The unchangeable. I am the unchangeable, he says. Me. Therefore, the doer and the non-doer. If you do something, there has to be non-doer. This is highest philosophy. Highest philosophy is the God, Paramatma, is everywhere. He cannot show partiality. Nirgunaha, arupi. So, the kartara is something that takes, the akartara must also be there. No? From akartara, the kartara has to come. From non-doing, the doing has to come. Then only the doing will be explained nicely. You will understand the meaning of doing something when there is something called the non-doing also. A still state. A still state The action state comes because of the still state. Otherwise, you will not understand the action state. See the logic, see the beauty, and see the philosophical profundity in Bhagavad Gita. And you say, don't read Bhagavad Gita, read only Bible. Well, Bible, these are all the verses. More are there. There will be no time. If they come for an argument, for a 2-hour argument, for a 2-hour debate, my God, they cannot stand a chance. Then God says about equanimity, He doesn't differentiate. He says, Veda, I have quoted several verses before also, but one more new verse I am quoting, 2:21. Chapter 2, verse number 21. What God says, what Bhagavan says, Veda avinashinam nityam yenam ajaha avyayam. So, he very clearly says, Katham, how? Saha Purushaha, Kaunteya, Kunti Putra, Ghatayati, Ghatayati is the Nijanda Pratyaya, causing, Ghatayati, come hanti, kill. Ghatayati, cause to kill, come, whom? And hanti, kill, whom? It can neither cause to kill because one who knows, Veda knows what? Avinashinam, that is permanent, no destruction. Avinashinam nityam. Yenam, this, I told you, Yenam is ayam, imam, ime, imam or Yenam. That Shabdaha will come. Ayam or Yenam, this or Imam, also you can say Purushalingam, it is masculine. I am not going too deep. So by this, not by this, Ayam imam ime, imam imane, anena or enena. When it comes enena, only by this. So Bhagavan says imam, this, like second vibhakti, he, me, like that. So this, how can it cause to kill and how can it kill? Because Veda know that this is permanent, this is unchangeable. Yenam, what is this Yenam? This Yenam Ajaha, which is unborn, and it is Avyayam, changeless, permanent, Nityam, Avinashinam. We have seen all this. So, Katham, how? Hey Kaunteya, tell me, Katham, how that Purushaha, Saha Purushaha, Ghatayati, come. Whom it will cause to kill? Whom it can ask to go and kill somebody, whom it can cause to kill, or whom it can kill. Come, hanti. You see, if you see these beautiful words, think and examine, and then if you talk on a debate, my God, there is no parallel. God does not ask here. He says, come. Now, whom will I ask that to go and kill, or whom will it kill? Here in Bible, God is asking all the people. He is asking from Moses, He is asking Joshua, He is asking everybody in Isaiah, or if you go to Judges, everybody has to be killed. Even children has to be dashed on the stones. Men and women have to be killed who are married women, and their children, the virgin girls you can take them as your wives. I mean, these are all not palatable. But let it be there. There are good verses in Bible which I am not saying no. Therefore, there is no business for these teachers or pastors to say, read only Bible and you should not read Bhagavad Gita. They will read, if they read Bhagavad Gita, they will understand what is what. But this does not mean that Jesus is demeaned. Jesus cannot be demeaned. He is a prophet. He did not do any harm to India. He only preached good. That is welcome. But through the words of Jesus, hate your father, hate your mother, or I have come here to not to bring peace but division. And those who are not hating their people, or those who are not disliking their father, mother, brother, sister and all, they are not worthy of me to be my disciples. All Jesus would not have told. I have come here, I brought here the sword, not peace. I don't think Jesus would have sold. These are all writers writing so that general people have to accept. If they say I write, nobody will accept. If they say Jesus writes some 800 years back, these are all written 700, 880 only. About 1000, 1400 years, not before that. I am 100% sure. My research tells me when I read the English pattern, everything translated about 1200 years, and some maybe as early as 12th, 13th century. Most of them good things. When Alexander invaded India, Megasthenes came back and he heard some of the Vedas also. Bhagavad Gita also. So, lot of Greek, if you say, as thou sow, thou shalt reap, Jesus says, nothing karma theory only. Whereas he says, nobody can go to Father in my heaven except through me. There is plus and minus also. So, everything will be, they don't accept karma theory, but here, as thou sow, thou shalt reap is a karma theory. As thou sow, thou shalt reap. Newton said, for every action, you have an equal and opposite reaction. That's what Bhagavan says. You will be born again to fulfill your bad and good deeds of karma. Until you think about me and do the bhajans, then only you merge in me. Bhagavan very clearly says. Bhagavan says he is God, but Jesus never said anywhere in Bible that he is God. Okay, my dear friends, with this I stop this today's lecture. Till such time, bhuyat tavat shubhamangalam. Thank you.